Welcome to On Texas Football. I'm Bobby Burton, joined by Gerry Hamilton of victorious Texas Longhorns yesterday, winning 34-13. This is time for the offensive grades. Gerry, I tell you what, the Longhorns looked pretty good yesterday at times. At other times, they did not. It was a sporadic performance and not a great performance in the red zone either. But still, they put 34 points up on the Sooners, a team that hadn't given up 30 points all season long.
Yeah, they did. The first quarter was ugly offensively. Let's just be real. It was the worst quarter of football Texas has played offensively all season. But they were playing against an anemic offense, so they got away with that. After the first quarter, they played pretty well offensively. I thought what Sark did really well was he took what Venables' defense was giving him. You know, he didn't force the throw. Especially, I don't think he could force the throw because Quinn did not play well in the passing game at all. So he couldn't force the throw. But I thought the way Oklahoma played, the safeties were deep in this game. Whether they played a 3 high or whatever, they normally had 2 high safeties in this game. Another team that really respected the speed of Texas and that ability to get deep. So Sark took what Brent Venables and that Oklahoma defense gave him, and that led to more explosive runs than Texas has had this season. Trey Wisner had both of them. And then you had another one in the reverse to Ryan Wingo, his second explosive run on a reverse this season.
Yep. Texas ended up with 406 yards of total offense, Gerry. Quinn Ewers finishing 20 of 29. Matthew Golden, by the way, was 1 of 2 on his attempts as the extra throws. Longhorns rushing for 177 yards total. Trey Wisner leading the way with 13 carries for 118 yards. Good output across the board for Texas on offense. It wasn't elite, though, to your point. Let's break it down a little bit further and do our grades. Before we do that, we want to say thank you to our friends, Allegiant Digital Marketing. If you're looking for ways to grow your business and save up to $2,500 in advertising, visit allegiantdigital.com/ontexasfootball. For more than 25 years, Allegiant Digital Marketing founder and CEO Chad Markham, a UT grad and instructor of the Digital Marketing Boot Camp here at UT Austin, has helped thousands of businesses overcome these challenges. Take advantage of their Hook 'em Horn special and save up to $2,500 in advertising. Visit allegiantdigital.com/ontexasfootball to learn more today. All right, Gerry, you could be a harsh grader at times. The thoughts on Quinn Ewers, I'll tell you what, if you asked me just the first quarter, I would have given him an F.
Yes.
He had happy feet, threw the interception, was high multiple times, didn't get rid of the ball, looked a little flustered. I don't even know if it was only rust. It looked like his feet weren't even moving right. But then the rest of the game, I think he calmed down, ended up going, like I said, 20 of 29 on Saturday for 199, only that one pick. He also scored on a running touchdown and threw the other touchdown to Gunnar Helm on that throwback. What'd you think of the Longhorn quarterback on Saturday?
This is where it's tough because Texas won the game 34-3, and it was against your rival, and he had been out 3 weeks, counting the off week. But at the same time, I feel like I have to be real. I give him a D, and because that was the worst NFL tape Quinn's put out in a while. As good as he was against Michigan, it was the other way yesterday against the Sooners. And just being real, I mean, throw high to Matthew Golden, missed the touchdown, didn't step into the throws early. I don't know if it was rust. I don't know if he at times looked like he was playing, maybe did not get hit in the pocket, take a square shot. But the one thing I do know is he's going to play at a higher level, and he's going to have to play at a higher level because they're going to face an offense that can score a little bit with them and put a little pressure on them at some point. Oklahoma wasn't that team. So he didn't face that pressure of having to play a high-level game necessarily because Oklahoma's offense is so bad. That's going to change probably next week and then more so down the line. But I just didn't think the feet weren't reactive. The throws were just inaccurate in the first quarter. Bond, that should have been a touchdown. The one late in the red zone, the wingo. I still don't know what he was doing with his feet on that throw. Even Sark kind of got on him coming off over to the sidelines after that one. Again, that was, look, I hate to say it when Texas wins, but I got to be real. I mean, I thought that was the worst NFL tape Quinn's put out in a while.
It may be. It may very well be, but at the same time, I think it was good enough for the win.
Yeah.
He provided, after that first series, he provided a steadiness to the team, in my opinion, compared to what OU was seeing on the opposite side of the ball. So maybe that's a D game for Quinn Ewers, grading him against him. I'm going to give him a C+, maybe even a B- because he took care of the ball, Jerry. This was a game he absolutely had to take care of the ball. Texas ended up with more turnovers for Longhorns than against them. And Oklahoma, the only way, in retrospect, you could talk about on Saturday that they would have had any chance in that game would have been big turnovers.
Yeah.
Threw one ball high. That was on the very first series. He took one sack all day, and that was on the very first series. After that, I thought Quinn took care of the ball really well. Sark dialed up a couple plays. He hit some open people. The long pass, I think, that really got him started was the catch by DeAndre Moore along that sideline and really kind of turned the table and allowed Quinn to start getting to be a little bit better there. So understand where you're coming from with Quinn. I think we're grading against an impossible grade there because he does have that chance to go very high in that NFL draft. And that's what you were talking about there. All right, running backs. We were wondering, Jerry, whether it was going to be Trey Wisner or Jaden Blue in this game. And early it was Jaden Blue. He got the first chance out of the gate, right? Then Trey Wisner comes in, goes for over 100, 2 long runs where he clearly broke some tackles and read the defense extremely well. Trey Wisner had himself a day on Saturday, going for, I think, $118 on 13 carries. Really solid performance for the young man from Waco via DeSoto as well. I have to give the running backs in the game an A- to a B+ because Wisner was much better than anticipated in it. The run game much more effective for the Longhorns as well.
Yeah, I'll give them an A- as well. I thought they didn't have any shots down the field catching the football, but they caught the football. Jaden Blue made his plays on the perimeter in the passing game. And I think Texas is kind of finding their way as far as what run game fits with these guys now. And Jarrett Gibson, I think, will be more involved as the season moves along. I think pass protection for a young back was probably has scared Texas a little bit coming into this game because Oklahoma does rush the passer well and put a lot of pressure on you with those linebackers and edges. But I thought Trey Wisner is really built for the counter game. And he's built for the counter game, which also has a little cutback to it. Jaden Blue, you can tell they want to run inside zone with him, see if he can kind of dance a second and then hit the gear to the second level, right? I think Trey Wisner has a little more patience in those longer developing run plays. And then I think they're both really good in the passing game. So I give them an A-. I didn't see any bad plays in pass protect. I'm not sure how much they were actually asked to pass protect, but I thought they did their job really well. Again, we talked about it when Quinn had the one turnover. Running backs didn't have any. And coming off a game.
They almost did. They almost did.
Trey Wisner, but that was just a good play by Oklahoma, right?
Yeah, but a little bit, yeah.
That was a good play by Oklahoma because Trey's reaching about to go over to the goal line, and the guy makes a play from behind. But Jaden Blue bounces back off a bad game against Mississippi State, carried it 10 times, had a few touches in the passing game. He bounced back pretty well. But again, I like what Texas is. Texas is finding their way with these guys' strengths. And the good thing for Texas is they have different strengths in the run game.
Yeah, and I thought also I would add this. They did well in pass protection, Jerry, as well. All right, let's talk about the wide receivers. I'll go ahead and start. Silas Bolden made the play of the game.
Yeah, Jordan Whittington.
Period, full stop. His effort allowed the Longhorns to keep momentum alive. We can talk about the rest of it. Ryan Wingo was the big play receiver on Saturday, not only in the pass game with the long catch and run on a third down, but also the reverse. Isaiah Bond out with an ankle. He was in a boot in the second half. We hope he is able to return for the Georgia game. Matthew Golden had a decent game. DeAndre Moore, a decent game, but it was the wide receiver room as a whole. No single player would you just say killed it, other than an effort play maybe from Silas Bolden. Seriously, the play of the game in so many ways.
Yeah. So, and I thought DeAndre Moore blocks on the perimeter. Yep. The Silas Bolden and Brian Wingo had a good block. Silas Bolden's effort. He had a block on the run before he chased down the play. So he had the block to help get Wisner to that explosive run on the edge there at the wide receiver position. Then he turned around and chased the play when a lot of receivers would not have. He was 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage when Wisner was taken off down the field. So I give that group an A-. I might be a little hard grader on them. A- to an A is what I give this group. And, it's kind of unfortunate that Isaiah Bond got injured because I think he might have had a couple of explosive plays as this game moved along as well.
Oh, man, he was wide open, and Quinn just missed him early. And so, to your point, they may have had an opportunity on Saturday to really domino that. I'll give them an A- to an A as well. I mean, I felt like they played a great, well-rounded game.
Yeah.
It was well-rounded. There wasn't any like I said, it was the wide receiver room as a whole that contributed to the win, not any single player. Tight end, A. Gunnar Helm is the outlet for Quinn Ewers and his run after catch. Jerry, last year we thought JT Sanders was pretty good run after catch. Gunnar Helm is killing it right now, run after catch, and being that true outlet, that true outlet for Quinn Ewers.
Yeah, and the thing he's doing too is it's all along the sidelines too.
Yeah,
JT was more middle of the field guy trying to cut back across the grain,
go down the seams.
Yeah. Gunnar Helm's doing it from a kind of a hot route at time, or safety valve at time, or third progression read at time. So he's making a lot of plays on the sidelines, which I really like. I give them a solid A as a group. I thought they blocked well. Gunnar Helm was pulled. He pulled in the blocking scheme, solo pulls on some of those the longer developing plays for Trey Wisner. Juan Davis had a catch, also did his job blocking. I do have a bit of advice for Gunnar Helm now, though, Bobby. His hurdles are well documented on tape, and he's got to watch his health. I mean, he got flipped. All it takes is landing on the point of his shoulder now. He's an experienced player. My bit of advice for him is that's on tape now 4 times. And Oklahoma got you on this one. Be careful. Long season.
Yeah, that's a good point. Juan Davis also had a good game. He caught a pass as well. But I think, look, Gunnar Helm, if Trey Wisner wasn't the offensive player of the game as an individual, I think Gunnar Helm might have had his second 90-plus yard performance on Saturday. 5 catches, 91 yards, 1 touchdown. Of course, that first touchdown catch on a throwback screen in the red zone for Gunnar Helm. Good stuff there from the tight end group as a whole. We did not see maybe as much Juan Davis as we thought we would on Saturday, because I thought they were going to run a lot of that inside zone with Davis being the lead blocker, but they did not go to that very much at all. Still, A for me from Gunnar Helm, because I thought he was the crutch that Quinn Ewers needed to help him get going to be a successful quarterback on Saturday. When you have that kind of outlet, that play along the sideline on a blitz, Helm checked out and did exactly what he was supposed to do. Quinn put it on him. Drive kept going. Good stuff there from the senior from the Denver area, no doubt. Our offensive line, Jerry, I thought that we said that this game would probably be won or lost by whether or not the Texas O-line handled the Sooner front. Handled. Period.
Yeah.
Full stop. No questions asked. Texas won the war on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm going to go solid A on this. Look, Oklahoma has good defensive front seven.
Yes.
And you talk about what other teams will have as good a front seven as Oklahoma. Georgia has some individual talent players. Kentucky has individual talent players, and A&M's front's really good. And they have a linebacker that's a good player. But this front seven posed a little something different even in Michigan because the linebackers had a lot of size. And they had multiple guys that could rush the passer. And it took Texas a second to get their feet wet on the offensive line in pass protection against Oklahoma because it was, look, they played UTSA, UL Monroe, Mississippi State, and had an off week. They hadn't exactly been playing against guys that were coming out with hair on fire like Oklahoma was Saturday. So it does take a second to get accustomed to those guys. And once they did, I thought they did a very good job. They're going to get pressure. They only had one sack. They're going to get pressure. They're good players. There's multiple draft picks over there. But I thought Texas more than held up in pass pro. And I thought on the run game, they continue to bring a level of physicality. Banks, Cam Williams, DJ Campbell, and even Jake Majors, who got lucky and avoided a major injury in that game, by the way. And they weren't going to be able to pull him out of that game at the end. He wanted to be on the field. He missed it last year. I thought the run game, the right side is really strong in the run game. And Kelvin Banks is a really good player, obviously. So I thought they answered the call. I had it as an offensive line game. If they played to the level of Michigan and the gated Oklahoma strength, what did Oklahoma have to win the game? They just didn't have. They just didn't have it on offense. They didn't have enough, even in their secondary with the injuries they've had this year. So I give this group a solid A, and I could be argued A+.
Good stuff. Other than the sack in the very first series and maybe a couple of leaky outside runs where the Sooners linebackers shot the gaps that then Texas later took advantage of with some cutback lanes, the Texas offensive line had its way with the Sooners. All right, we're going to talk about overall grades of the offense. Before we do, we want to remind people that this episode of On Texas Football is brought to you by our friends over at Allegiant Digital Marketing. If you're looking for ways to grow your business, save up to $2,500 in advertising by visiting allegiantdigital.com/on Texas Football with Allegiant Digital Marketing. Today, founder and CEO Chad Markham with Allegiant Digital Marketing is an Austin-based ad agency that has helped thousands of business owners just like you for more than 25 years conquer challenges of marketing to their customers. Visit allegiantdigital.com/on Texas Football and get a free marketing plan. Plus, you can save up to $2,500 in advertising with their Hook 'em Horns special today. Jerry, overall, no overwhelming day for Texas on Saturday. A little over 400 yards in total offense. This is a Sooners defense that gave up 480 to Auburn just 2 weeks ago. But effective, played ball control in the second half. I mean, look, they ran Texas. I'm going to give you this stat. First two series of the second half, Texas ran 21 plays. They only scored 3 points, okay? But they kept time of possession. They smothered. The offense did. Any thought of a Sooner comeback by having long, sustaining drives? Obviously, the defense had its way as well, but they owned third quarter in plays. I think it was 21-7 or 8 at one point in time. So the Texas offense did what they needed to do on Saturday to come out with the win. It wasn't the prettiest. We mentioned their problems in the red zone, only one red zone touchdown. But that being said, a 34-3 win over your arch rival, you take it every day and twice on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll give it a solid B overall, I think. And look, this was a game that if you watched it back, you're going to say, man, Texas had a lot of missed opportunities. They could have scored in the 50s in this game. I think Brian Robeson said that in the postgame last night. But I do want to give credit to Oklahoma. I think their front seven's really good. I don't think they're a great defense, but I think they're good. They have multiple NFL players on that front. And that's going to be one of the top 4 defensive front sevens Texas plays all season, maybe top 3. We'll see if they can hold up with bad offense around them. But I thought Texas just missed a lot of opportunities in this game. And the fact that they scored 34 and put up 400 yards when your quarterback played his worst game this season by far, this says a lot for this team. And Isaiah Bond goes out with injury. That goes to the depth. The Ryan Wingo comes in and plays the entire second half and some of the first half after that injury. on offensive line. They had to be the strength of this team today, and they absolutely were. They had explosive runs against Oklahoma because they played with a lighter box, which surprised me that they stayed with that. I just think they were scared of the speed. So I also want to grade on that, Bobby. A really good team that, again, didn't want Texas to get behind them. That you almost have to grade up a little bit on that too, because people are scared. They're respecting Texas speed. But I'm going to go solid B because there were too many missed opportunities. They had the interception. Just too many loose plays for me to give them an A. This is one of those games where you love it on the scoreboard and you love the bragging rights, but when you go back and watch the film, you're going to say, Matt, Texas should have scored 50.
I will say this. I'm going to give them a B minus.
Yeah.
Overall. Yes, it was a winning performance, but it was not a dominating one. And they cannot do what they did in the first quarter against Georgia and expect to win a football game.
No, Quinn's going to play better, and he's got to play better starting next week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's really it. And then they didn't capitalize once they got into the red zone like they have in weeks past this season. So I'm good with a B minus on on the offense overall. At the same time, I'm smiling from ear to ear because look, the one thing that they knew they had to do is get their guys some plays in space. Sark was able to do that. He manufactured a run game, I think, with some scheme issues with or thoughts with Trey Wisner, and then also not turn over the ball. That's the only way Texas would have lost to Oklahoma on Saturday. After that first drive, Quinn did not put the ball in harm's way, in my opinion. The defense or the offensive line pass protected in a way that kept the ball out of harm's way. So Quinn wasn't having to worry about switching hands with the ball or anything like that. I felt like Texas executed from midway through the second quarter on at a pretty high level. Not great, but certainly that first quarter left a lot to be desired. All right, that's going to do it for the offensive grades. Jerry, we've got more coming today. Defensive grades, we got the second watch with Rod Babers, then we're on later tonight at the live stream. You guys have fun. We'll see you again today. Big Longhorn victory yesterday. Texas 34-3. Longhorn offense looked good at times, but wasn't perfect at all. Good stuff there, Jerry. Thank you very much. Hook 'em.